2 and 1. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Oh, should I periscope this? Wait, I just want to try to periscope this open. Oh, look at him! Look at him running in at the last second. Look at him. Before I start intro, he's like, "I'm coming to the show," and shows up. All right, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Let me rewind this. I'm sorry for those who have followed me on Periscope, and I said that I was gonna broadcast the intro. I'm doing my hosting thing, so I'm not gonna do it. But let me intro this show, because this show right here, this is the Black Geeks podcast, and you're on with some of the techie geekiest, coolest. We're the coolest geeks you gonna find doing a podcast. Now, I can't say that there aren't other cool geeks, because we've met a whole lot of cool geeks, but I'm going to tell you something. If you have this perception of geeks that, oh, well, they're this and they're that, and they don't, yeah, look, I'm going to tell you, we're rewriting all that, because we're the Black Geeks, and I'm here to tell you, we do this podcast, and we have a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of fun, I tell you, this brother is fun. This is the Potbelly Samurai. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. I do have to make one distinct clarification for the people. I'm not a geek. I'm an intellectual.
You're a geek. This is not the Black Intellectuals. I mean, we can shut this podcast down, or we can do the Black Intellectuals, and we'll go down that path. But
big overall, I am an intellectual, sir.
Well, that ain't this show. So, you can just go ahead and hop off right now if you're here for the Black Intellectuals. Oh,
watch me as I stroke my beard. This is proof that I am an intellectual. As I pontificate.
As I pontificate.
With a Spider-Man t-shirt on.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let me put my banner up here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also introduce his Royal Highness. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy over there, that's King Face. What's going on, Face?
Wow, King of the Jungle.
Careful. You
know what? You better watch out for dentists. Hey,
watch out for those dentists.
You know what's crazy? Hide your teeth, hide your cats. They're shooting everybody up in here. You know what's crazy? Now that y'all talked about it, and I know I got a lot of tweets this week. Fans, the millions and millions of fans across Twitterverse was like, when are you going to do another Magic Mike rendition? And I was like,
no.
I didn't see not one of those tweets. I said, it should be about that time. So I was just thinking, one of my t-shirts just got out the dryer. So it's either my Superboy shirt or my Black Geek shirt. Matter of fact, I'm finna text my wife right now and have her bring it down. And the show will be on. 6 minutes. 6 minutes, King Face is on.
Ladies and gentlemen, hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Hide your
this conversation just took a fruity turn.
You got 6 minutes to hide them all. Put them in the panic.
Make a run for it right now while you got a chance.
And ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, we do have Darky Conius. What's going on, Darky Conius? You doing all right, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Thank you.
Wow,
that's all I got.
That's all you got.
Dude, okay, I said it. This is not the Black Intellectual show. I just said that. Yeah, that was the Black Intellectual. That was about it. Where's the hey y'all? And where's something? You gotta get
Hello.
Howdy-ho! You know what?
Not there.
You open the door so hard for that. I'm not gonna take it.
Just let it go.
Wow.
I know I opened the door wide open. Just let it go.
Yeah, you definitely went there. Oh, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We got a great show ahead, because this is one of the great shows. One of the great things about the Black Geeks is that a lot of the stuff we do is not scripted. And tonight we are doing one of our
anything scripted?
No, there's some things that are scripted, but the majority, I say 95.
Do we even know how to write a script? Like, seriously, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think we can write scripts, but my problem is I'm a nonconformist. I have a problem with authority, so I'm not going to.
We could probably rename this show like the ad lib, not the Black Geeks. Let's call that joint the ad lib, the audible or the freestyle. Like, pick one.
You could definitely go that route, man. We're going back to like a classic format we haven't done in quite some time, man. We're going roundtable where the geeks just bring whatever to the table, whatever sparked them. I know we got maybe a couple movie reviews out there. We could talk about gaming, we could talk about television, we could talk about comics. I mean, man, it's just no telling what this show is. But roundtable is definitely one of my favorite formats because it really lets you, lets you see some of the depths that are within these brothers, and also our sister geek, Dark Phoenix, who's not with us this evening. And I'm gonna tell y'all, be careful because Ghost could show up at any moment. He just like slides into the room, which is what he does. Look at that. He made the presto change, or he did a Superman on us real quick and made that change. Look at that. All right, you good? You good in your nice, warm, comfy shirt now?
Oh, I didn't put it on yet.
I thought you just put that on. No.
I did a layer change, but I can put it on.
Oh!
Want me to put it on?
You know what?
No.
Put it on for real? Oh, so Bob Brown want me to put it on.
No.
You want them to do it for the vibe?
No.
We're good.
How about that Sif News? What about that Sif News? I heard that Sif News is good.
Yeah, we got a lot of Sif news. Let's go ahead and do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys
Play
and
the
girls,
music.
it's time for some news.
Oh, thank God.
We're going news.
Play the
We're
music.
talk news. Look, we're still working on the whole music thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna kick this over to my good friend Darky Conius with the news of the week. Take it away, Darky Conius.
Face, kick a freestyle.
All right. So, in some network programming TV news, we have Queen Latifah and Mary J. Blige will be joining NBC's The Wiz Live. So, we found out that Queen Latifah will be playing the Wizard, and Mary J. Blige will be playing the Wicked Witch of the West. Still no news on Dorothy. They said they wanted a fresh face, and open casting is still going on. So this is the latest casting news. Mary J. Blige and Queen Latifah on The Wiz. For those writers out there who just...
Hold on real quick. Did they say who was playing the Scarecrow?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Or did it come out at any of the cast? Just a couple people?
Yeah, so far. They're still doing casting and finalizing and stuff. So
I could do the Scarecrow if y'all want me to.
Okay.
You want me to? I could do it.
No, I think we should let that ride.
No, we're good. I mean, well, I'm gonna tell you what. If they pull Justin Bieber as a Scarecrow, yes.
All right, moving right along. So for those writers out there who just wondering how can they make it, and we got some more depressing news out there. There's a woman named Anna Todd. She just signed a multi-million-dollar, well, not multi-million-dollar, a six-figure publishing deal. So that's not even $1 million. And she just got ready to, she's selling the movie rights to Paramount for some fan fiction she did about the boy band One Direction. Of course, we all know the last person to do fan fiction. They did Twilight fan fiction, and they ended up doing 50 Shades of Grey. So, for those aspiring writers out there, apparently, you need to do fan fiction for something that little girls love, and you too can make a lot of money. So I thought I'd just share that out there and crush all your dreams. In some cheerful news, Netflix and Marvel have announced that every 6 months they're going to release a new show. So coming up next is Jessica Jones, and then 6 months from that will be Luke Cage, and I think 6 months after that will be Daredevil 2. So they're going to keep this going for at least the next couple of years anyway, the foreseeable future. And yes, of course, they're going to have The Punisher, and they've casted a lot of people, so got some good stuff going on. This week,
well, okay. I don't want to hate. I'm done hating. I'm worried about the Punisher.
It's Shane, man.
It's done so many iterations. Now, granted, all the iterations weren't that bad. It's just like, come on, like the Punisher though. Again.
Well, there's no rumors that he'll have his own show. Apparently, word on the street is that he'll be a villain of sorts in Daredevil season 2.
Okay. All right, whatever.
And it's Shane. He's proven he can play crazy, dark, and sinister. So we'll see. This week, actually a few days ago, Windows 10 was unleashed on the world. So though I rarely ever talk about Microsoft, I highly recommend and encourage all Windows users and even Mac users who run Windows to upgrade to Windows 10. Windows 10, by far, and this is an impromptu review of sorts, is probably the best version of Windows to date. That is a huge to date.
Do you see Big Baba Rao's face? It's almost like he's like at that peak of excitement stage where if he was by himself, this would be a very different kind of show.
Oh no, sir, no, sir.
Like,
I would like
face.
to.
No.
And
You misunderstand. Let me stop. There we go. You misunderstand. I am deathly afraid of upgrading to Windows 10. I am so afraid of bugs. I am so afraid. But I've set up my test environment. My Lenovo Y50 is gonna go first, because I'm running 8.1 on that. So I'm gonna let that be my test subject because the majority of my stuff is backed up. Then I've got my original Dell gaming box. That's still running 7. I'm going to do that next. And then once I'm sure that works and everything's fine, I don't have any issues and conflicts with Steam or anything else, then I will consider upgrading the unit I built. So it's not, trust me, it is not excitement. It is sheer terror because every upgrade is a slight downgrade. And so I'm
not this time.
Haven't
successfully tested Windows 10 for the last 5 months.
Whatever.
In various different video games, Steam, and other environments, along with myself and like every tech journalist on the internet, Windows 10 is by far, it's considered one of the best versions of Windows by virtue of the fact we have none of these headaches. In fact, this is even better than the Windows 7 rollout, which was huge for Microsoft Windows 7. There's basically anything you could have wanted. They have a whole new browser called Edge, which is very impressive. They have Cortana if you're into that. But for those of us who are also Xbox users, they also got some integration things. Like, for instance, you can play your Xbox on your PC, and in a few months, Microsoft is going to install Windows 10 on the Xbox, so you'll be able to stream your PC to your Xbox and vice versa. So for those of you who haven't been able to play Halo on your PC in a while, well, I guess you kind of got to have an Xbox to do that. But my point is, Windows 10 is the definitive Windows upgrade, fixing a slew of bugs, all the complaints with Windows 8. It's much faster, it's much lighter. I've personally upgraded my test version of Windows from the preview program up to full version. It went off without a hitch. And I've also upgraded several other Windows laptops and PCs over the past few days, all without a hitch. Second runner-up, if you can get Office 2016, get that too. Though I mainly use Pages on my Mac, I must admit I am loving the new version of Microsoft Word.
Now, does that cost $30 a month?
If you get the Office 365 subscription, personally, I use a student account, so if you happen to have an EDU account that participates with Microsoft, you can get it for free. Otherwise, I believe that's one of the only ways outside of buying it outright is to sign up for.
That's what turned me off the Office. That's that nickel and dime foolishness that turned me off. I don't.
Well, the good news is that Microsoft is not really charging for the operating system, whereas in the past, Windows would cost something like $120.
Yeah.
Nearly every PC on Earth will be able to upgrade for free.
Well, I saw that, and I mean, that's the only way. It's the only way to maintain. I mean, when you talk about getting a Mac or Apple, a Mac, they just upgrade your operating system in an update. It's part of the updates. You don't have to play this game. Like, the one thing I say that's turned me off to PC, and I still have a PC and I still love my PC, and I have no intention of getting rid of it yet. But kind of to Bob Rob's point, the one thing the one aspect that still bothers me this far into the game is the fact that there's always a problem. And it's always a major problem. Like mine, when I was with 7, I didn't have any real problems with 7, to be perfectly honest. And with 8, I wasn't mad about the whole start button thing. That didn't bother me because that was fairly easy to go back and forth. But the bugs that was in 8, I don't know if everyone has these. Like, for example, all my USBs stopped working. Soon as I switched, because 8.1 has a problem with USB 3.0. It's like, really? And so unless you have one of those USBs that can do dual 2.0 and 3.0, your straight up 3.0 systems don't work. That's my entire back part of my computer. That means I pretty much lost all functionality. I can't print. I can't watch my movies. All my external hard drives don't work. And it was like, really? All because I installed 8.1. And it was just like, that's a major thing. And they don't have any answers. Like, you're troubleshooting like crazy, installing all this new troubleshooting hardware just to get your USBs to work. And it's like, you shouldn't have to deal with that. And then sometimes they come out with an update that acts like a virus and shuts your whole thing down. But it's an update from Windows.
I will modify my recommendation to say this. I have been primarily using Windows 10 on a Mac, which has been for like the last 5 years been rated the best PC for Windows. So I don't have any of those issues primarily because I'm running Windows on a Mac. But I have successfully installed Windows 10 on actual PCs, ironically from HP, and the person who gave me their stupid HPs to install on. Let me tell you, I will say this, do not buy HP anything except a printer. I don't like to just go hard on one single company, but I'm telling you, oh my God, these laptops I was working on, it had so much bloatware on it. It was like soon as the computer comes on, all these things start popping up from HP, and I was like, you don't need none of this crap. I almost wiped their entire computer and installed it fresh, but I said, no, I'm only here to upgrade, patch, and do stuff like that, so I left it alone. Wow. But I will say that, again, and even in that scenario, but then again, we're talking a basic user who was only using email, internet, things of that nature. And of course, like I said, the Windows machine that I did the most testing on was a Mac, so I don't know if I can, given the issues that Windows have had over the years with drivers and stuff. But I will say for all of the other reviews outside of my own, it seems to be universal that most people are not having any issues with this upgrade. And I will just say, with aesthetics, features, and all that other stuff, at least in my personal opinion, this is probably the best version of Windows I've ever used.
Geekonies, if I could, just for a moment, I want to read a couple of questions from the chat regarding Windows 10. I know you're in the middle of Sith News, but I just want to, first of all, thanks.
Well, we're free flowing, so.
Yeah, thanks everyone who's in the chat. St. Clinton, the armchair, commentary, Bison.
I just clicked on somebody asked about.
Yeah. Let me grab St. Clinton's question first. It says, how much time should we figure it will take to download Windows 10? If I remember correctly, they said the install was it 8 gigs? I mean 3 gigs. So it really depends.
It was a little less than 4.
Yeah, it's only at something like 3.5. So number one, it all depends on what your connection is that you can pull down 3 gigs. I was pulling down some 1 gig files the other day, downloading some old shows of ours, and that took like 20 some minutes. But it really depends on your connection and then the availability of the server to download. So
yeah, it took me about a good 10 minutes to do the whole thing.
Yeah, but you got a ridiculous connection though, and you've got. I still can't figure out how you got the speed that you got, and I know what I've got. I've done my test, but
I give Verizon a little extra money under the table.
Yeah, I know he's got. All right. Another question from the chat. I want Bison. I'm with you. After I install 10, I'm gonna wait until I see. And for Armchair, for your question, I have a feeling that most likely they're going to check if you are doing what you say you're doing, you may have a problem because
Well,
they go ahead.
word on the street, Microsoft kind of said yes originally, then kind of walked it back. It should work.
If
Really?
you
Yes, I'm not going to repeat it. If you're in the chat
Yeah,
ah,
room,
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
see.
Don't repeat it. Don't repeat it. Definitely don't repeat it.
But
I think I understand.
I'm almost very certain because here and here's why I'm certain. In the past, if you've been part of Microsoft's preview program and you had the various iterations of the betas for Windows, and trust me, the builds come out like Windows 10 must have went through, I don't even know how many iterations I had of Windows 10, and they just kept changing features, changing features, changing features. And normally, when it's over and they go RTM or release the manufacturer to the final version, you still have to get a fresh version, but they just let that upgrade. So I've seen it on at least several different instances where it just upgrades because the thing is Microsoft is moving more to the Apple model of where the software is just something that you use because they're trying to get you into the hardware and the other services versus the operating system. So I would, like someone mentioned, virtual. You might want to test that first, but from what I understand, it should not be a problem. Or you could always just go get it from the source you got the last one from. And I will say this. Again, speaking about the upgrade for those who are hesitant to install, um, nothing changed. Especially if you look at the code for between Windows 8 and Windows 10, most of the code just got tighter. So Windows 8, you can clearly see that they didn't really do a lot of code changes from Windows 8 to Windows 10. They did a lot of streamlining, much like they did between Windows 7 and Windows Vista. I know people hated Vista, but if
I
you look
still
at Vista code and look at Windows 7 code, you'll find that Windows 7 was really Vista with all the other crap just taken out. They didn't even really change the OS version number because at the end of the day, the problem with Vista primarily was everyone was told they could run it with 2 gigabytes of RAM and blah blah blah, and everyone knows you had to have a minimum of 8 gigabytes of RAM. So if you were a builder like I was at the time, running like 8 to 12 gigabytes, I never had a problem with Vista. Windows 7 just was Vista Lite, and Windows 10 is pretty much Windows 8 Lite
well,
with
the
some new features.
problem with Vista or things like Vista, it wasn't so much that if you had 12 gigabytes, you could run it. You could run it right out the gate. But everybody knows with every year you got your computer, you start to run more stuff. It becomes more of a hassle when you got that much stuff running in the background. And it's like even with 8 gigs, you talking crazy processes just soaking up your CPU and your memory. It's the reason why your stuff gets slower. And because you're going to have that natural slowdown with your computer when you start doing stuff just at random. I mean, you install any program, you play games, you're automatically going to soak up your chip at least a little bit. It's just natural. And when you got that much processes running, it's going to make it even worse to the point where you try to click on something and it takes 10 minutes to open. You can literally make a whole sandwich before you can open up Word. That's a problem.
And as you remember, if you were to go to like Best Buy and a different PC manufacturer at the time Vista came out, they was extremely underselling the hardware. I think a lot of people issue with Vista was the performance overall because you were able. I remember Vista was coming loaded on Dell laptops with only 2 gigabytes RAM, and
Yeah,
they
it's
were
not
being
hard.
and they were being installed 32-bit, meaning you couldn't use more than 4 anyway. It was like 3
And you
point
open
something.
it up out the box using 50% of your chip.
Yeah, so everybody was
That's the
pissed off
problem.
because they were buying all these Vista computers that weren't working. But if you were a system builder and you installed the 64-bit version, you were running a bunch of RAM, and you were good. And so that was the main difference. Going back in Windows history. Just to real quick wrap this up and address something that Bison posted about some of the features from CNET was saying some of the bad things are all these different features like Cortana and things of that nature uh, that are better suited for smartphones. I will say this: in the several months I've been using Windows 10, I've only used Cortana just to see how it works. It's basically Google Now or Siri for the computer. Think of it that way. But I will say this: you don't have to use those features. You can turn them off. So it's not like they're not forcing you to use Cortana or anything like that. In fact, when you first go to click the button, you can determine if you want Cortana on, or you can even limit her abilities to just be a basic background search versus an actual virtual assistant. So
She ain't
yes,
trying to be no background assistant.
but the point is, Windows 10 comes with a lot of new features, and it does not have any impact on performance. That's the biggest thing I like about Windows 10 is that it has a lot of performance enhancements. It's really silky smooth. I know Windows has burnt people a lot over the years, and people are afraid of the game that they've gone through over the years. But I will just say, as a person who's been using Windows for ever and a day, this is the most flawless, seamless rollout I've ever seen Microsoft pull off. So I think their changeover of CEO, and I think they've just come out to be a much better quality company in my opinion, and the software shows it. So moving back to the SIF News thing. For those of you who thought Google Glass was dead, some of you were really hoping to get Google Glass, and Google even said they was canceled. They actually sneaking it back out, but they're only doing it for companies. They're not doing a personal version of Google Glass. And the latest iteration does not have actual glasses. It's more of a clip-on to existing glasses and safety goggles for those who work in manufacturing. They've managed to get a better Intel processor in there and increase battery life. So we may never see it, but you might see your doctor and surgeons might start using Google Glass. Maybe police officers will use it. I mean, get them to. Never mind. Moving right along. Everyone know we went hard over the last couple of shows about this whole apocalypse thing, and we weren't the only ones. Twitter, Facebook, you name it, almost everybody has gone in hard about apocalypse. So naturally, Bryan Singer had to come out and defend it. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I just need you to hear this quote, and then you guys can tell me what you think about Singer's comment on this one. Singer says he'll be very similar to images in the comic. There's obviously something very futuristic and yet ancient to the design of both his costume and physicality. So basically, we're all blind. We've all never read any X-Men comic.
Okay, so this was going to happen, Mr. Freaking Singer. This is what I'm going to say. Okay. I don't know who the hell you're talking to. I don't know why you're speaking to us like we all stupid in this piece. Okay, but I didn't say it all the way. I didn't say anything all the way, so
close.
We're good. It was close, but I didn't actually do it. But here's the deal. If you want to say you're taking creative liberties, just come out and say you're taking creative liberties. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just man up. Just say, hey, I just do what the other directors do. I thought Apocalypse, and I thought he would be really good wearing crushed velvet. I just thought he should wear crushed velvet. Say you wanted to wear crushed velvet. You know what I'm saying? Don't insult my intelligence. Like, he's going to be just like the one in the comics. What comic? You must have a comic than everybody else does, and that's what it is, and that's cool. If you could just share it with me, because I do like reading comics, share the comic that you're talking about, send it to me, then we're good. And I think we'll be okay.
All I'm going to say is this. If Apocalypse looked like I could whoop his ass, that joint is an epic fail. That's all I'm going to say. I need to look at Apocalypse personally and nut up like, yeah, I'm going to rethink this whole process.
Once again, it was not me. So we keep it count.
I'm not cursed yet.
Right. You're being vulgar.
That's different than cursing. That's different than cursing.
Language.
Hey, real quick.
I ain't putting no money in the swear jar.
I was hoping that we would have been over with SIF News by 11, but I just can't. I can't wait any longer, ladies and gentlemen. Also joining the podcast is Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix, good evening. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good.
She's back. Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. Geekonis, do you have any other major Sith news before we get into the whole roundtable thing?
I had a bunch of good stuff, but I just want to go ahead and go into it.
Whoa. Just what are the topics? Come on, give us the headline.
Okay, this one is for Kingface.
Okay.
So Marvel is really big on trying to get diversity going. And so they have a comic that they're working on with Hercules. And he's in a relationship with Logan.
Whoa!
And they're saying don't worry about it. It's like an alternate universe. It's not Earth 616, so it don't really count. But yeah.
Wow. But you said a comic or a movie?
Comic.
Oh, okay. Well,
dude, that's kind of like
that's
you remember that old joke about Hulk Hogan and Macho Man? That's like the comic book version of that joke.
Oh well.
So I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure. I'm just want to make sure we're clear. I want to make sure we're all in the same sheet of music. So we're talking Hercules.
Yes. Yes, Hercules from Avengers. That Hercules, yeah. Yeah, so
moving right along.
Yeah. Rest of my comic news is just basic casting news.
Okay.
For Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, Batgirl, Tom Cruise doing all his stunts in Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, wait. I think we're gonna get there later. Real quick, Miss Marvel. What's the casting news? I want to hear that.
The casting news for Miss Marvel is the woman from Edge of Tomorrow. I had her name up, but I lost it.
She's gonna play who? Carol Danvers.
That's the rumor.
That's not a bad choice. She might be a little bit old though.
And the woman who plays from the Hunger Games, Johanna, she's being reported to be playing for Batgirl. And of course, Forrest Whitaker and a bunch of other people. In other words, the Spider-Man casting list got leaked. Jason Biggs for Scorpion.
No, I like that cast for Batgirl. It took me a minute for me to think about who you get. I want to know what her real name. I can't remember her actual name.
Okay, that's Emily Blunt. Is the chick from Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
no one has anything to say about Jason Biggs for Scorpion.
Dude, I'm just ignoring that.
I'm just ignoring that.
Completely ignoring.
I think that's a good casting joint for Batgirl if they do her with.
Let me ask you this though, what's their long-term plan with some of these characters? Because I know with a lot of the characters that they're doing for this, X-Men remake, they're going real young because they're trying to build out the franchise. Again, they need to just scrap that joint and give it back to Marvel together, but that's a whole nother story.
You know why I'm not mad?
That's Fox's strategy, but Marvel has said with Spider-Man, they're going to do it as if he's already existing in the universe. So they're not going to do any origin anything. They're just going to be like, he's already there. So I guess that's why people are allowed to be older. Like Billy Zane has been cast as the Vulture. And
but the Vulture's old as hell anyway.
I do kind of like who they got for Jonah Jameson though. They got Hugh Laurie, House, the guy who played the House.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a real good call.
I mean, I think my man that did it first was good, but I think he could pull it off too. I mean, the Jason Biggs thing. I mean, the fact that they had Paul Giamatti playing Rhino.
Yeah, well.
After that, why are you surprised?
I guess anything is possible.
When you said Billy Zane playing the Vulture, at first I was like, why? But then I thought about it. The Vulture has always been old looking in the comics anyway.
When he first came out in the comics, they were saying that if he was so old that if he actually acted his age, he'd just die, right there. He's always been an old character.
So maybe. Okay.
Other than that, I just want to give people advice. if you ever want to watch a Ronda Rousey fight, just wait till it come out on the Vine. Because that's about all the time she needs to knock the person out. So
36 seconds.
36 seconds.
34.
You wanna know what?
34 seconds.
You know what happened to me? I got that fight because I got swapped up in hype. So I like Ronda Rousey as a fighter, and the woman that she fought, I allowed myself to believe that you could talk your way into whooping somebody's tail. She talked her game was so raw, like I'm gonna do this, and you saw, and it was like, okay, she's undefeated, she had 9 fights, you gotta be at least pretty good to win 9 fights, so clearly you might be able to do something. 36
clearly not.
Yo, I'm gonna tell y'all like this though. If y'all look at like MMA and y'all look at the fighters that stay on top are the ones that had a strong foundation in a traditional martial art form. Like if you look at Ronda Rousey, her mother's a judoka. Her mother was the first American to win a judo world championship, and she did that in either 84 or 86. Ronda Rousey grew up in martial arts, in traditional martial arts. She was a 4th degree black belt in judo and was the first American woman to win a medal in the Olympics in judo. She didn't get into MMA in 2010, and what she did was she learned striking, and then she went all in. So she took the judo background, which is very, very strong, and then she learned how to punch, how to actually strike, and she's wearing them out.
And she's one of the only fighters that have an amateur background. That they're amateur fighting before she did all this extra.
Yeah, she wearing them out. She's going to, until she run up against somebody who has that same level of credentials as far as a traditional framework, and she got built from the ground up. She didn't just start out saying, yo, I'm going to go do MMA. She was built from the ground up. Like,
somebody will
get another fighter like that, she's not going to lose.
Maybe they'll have one. Maybe it's because you don't ever want to say never. But somebody will beat her when she's like 45.
That's the same as saying
like 10 years from now.
That is that's 17 years from now. She's 28. That's the same as saying never.
Oh, when you see her fight, she is so thorough. Like she don't have any wasted movements. Not even how a lot of people throw stupid punches. They put their head down and still do this, even though they like 5th degree black belts. They still do that. That stuff. Even all of them, the guys and everything, they just throw punches just for the sake of throwing punches. She don't do that. There's no wasted movements with her. That's why she's always tapping people out or knocking them out. She's a beast.
All I know, I saw from that Vine, I saw like 3 or 4 swings, and somebody went down face first, and then she walked off and said, "Don't cry." I was like, wow. I was like, that's cold. But she was getting revenge because the old girl was talking all that smack
the whole time. How you gonna bring somebody dead pops into it? Like,
yeah. And she dedicated the fight to Roddy Piper, who died this past few days ago.
Friday.
Because isn't that her nickname, Rowdy?
Yeah. Ronda Rousey, and she dedicated to Roddy Piper. And I was gonna say that to the end of the show, but I was gonna throw that out there. Rest in peace to Roddy Piper. It's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Just favorite personalities of all time. He was like,
yeah, I don't think he ever wrestled.
No, he did. But see, that's the thing. No, he did wrestle. I mean, everybody remembers Piper's Pit. But
no. He you call it wrestling. He comes in the ring, poke you in the eye, smack you around a little bit. Look, I don't remember.
Hey, you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do to win the game. That's all you gotta do. I mean, but it was fun, man. He was a fun dude. Even when he was a bad guy, he was fun. Running around with the kilt and the hot rod shirts. I was like, that's crazy. Once I was on Twitter and I was going through all the stuff, and they had a lot of people had a lot of different outtakes. He is easily one of the best all times. Yeah, iconic.
Y'all remember his movies though? Like the thing that I always remember him for is that movie They Live.
I'm here to chew bubble gum ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
That dude, come on, man. And then he had the joint with Mr. T. Come on, man. It's just it's unfortunate, man.
Definitely
a lot of our childhood heroes going down, but he was one of the ones, man.
And ironically, he was just a week or so ago defending Hulk Hogan actually about this other thing. But he didn't. If you actually saw the video, he didn't quite defend him. He basically was just saying, "Look, I've known Hogan all my life. Whatever got him to be acting that crazy, which was stupid, is one thing. But I don't think he has a racist bone in his body." But he said, if I saw him, I would be like, what are you doing? That's stupid. I'll smack him upside the head and be like, all right, keep it moving. And I was just like, Yeah.
Speaking of keeping it moving, I'm gonna jump in and do my hosting thing here because we still haven't touched the table yet, and I want to start with let's start into our roundtable conversation, and I want to start off with Dark Phoenix and see what she has for the roundtable today. So, Dark Phoenix, floor is yours. What you got for us today?
Not much. I haven't had a chance to really look at a lot of stuff. I guess I didn't get a chance to talk about Hulk Hogan last week because y'all did and everything, and I wasn't on it, so I won't bring that up again. But I found out that I saw the new trailer for the Dragon Ball Z movie that's coming out, and I was excited for that. It just looks so great, and how you just get that feeling when you see something that it's gonna be boss, and I've been looking at it repeatedly for a little bit now. So it looks like it's going to be really good. And it's playing in select theaters from, I think, August 4th through the 12th. So it's coming out this Tuesday till next Wednesday. So I'm going to definitely be trying to catch that. And I think it's really cool. I mean, just a cartoon series. And, I mean, I don't know. I mean, with that and, Sailor Moon was, my two cartoons that I would watch when I was younger. And I'm just, Sailor Moon's awesome. And they just did they came out months ago, and they've series kind of going back to the Magna in terms of bringing that back. So I think it's really cool that Dragon Ball Z is coming out with a new movie. So that was about it. I was just going to say how excited I was for that.
And this is great because at least they get a real director, unlike the Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope if the movie is an hour, I guess it's an hour and a half long. As long as it's not 30 minutes of just showing
them changing it.
As long as it goes out of Nabu, and then at the end of it, he gets mad and whips out a senzu bean. And it's like, oh, come on. I mean, Krillin's the token senzu bean carrier. Oh, who's got a senzu bean? Krillin. Always. But yeah,
thinking about Dragon Ball Z and animation that came out around that time. Any of y'all used to watch Rurouni Kenshin?
Nope.
Oh, no. You never seen Rurouni Kenshin? Alright, so all y'all, that's your homework. Go on Netflix or whatever. Check out Rurouni Kenshin. Get up on, Batosai the Manslayer. And then once y'all do that, they just released a live action movie, and I joined it sick. I've been training with my teacher all weekend, and we took a break, and we was watching that joint, and the swordplay in that joint is so thorough. It is ridiculous. Did y'all ever seen that joint Lone Wolf and Cub?
Yeah.
All right, so take the swordplay from that, multiply that times 10, and then you got the Rurouni Kenshin live action movie.
Whoa.
Yo.
That's crazy. Yo, speaking of live action and anime, I don't know if you guys, I think we've all seen it at this point. I don't know, but the live action trailer for Attack on Titans, that was
I saw that. That's crazy.
Tight.
I hope the whole movie could be. I still felt funny. I was like, I love Attack on Titan. That's one of my favorite animes, hands down. I felt funny about them doing a live action movie because I'm not the one. I don't have a problem with CGI in movies. I really don't. It could be overdone. So I was curious about how they do the Titans and all the action, but so far that was well done because that looked like a giant naked crazy man, so, like a real one. So I'm curious how they're gonna pull that off, but it's so that quick trailer that I saw It's actually pretty thorough.
Does anybody know when the next season of Attack on Titan starts
I
up?
do not. I do not. I thought I saw something on the webs, but I'll take a look, relook at it, see if I can find it. But I don't know the exact time. I just know they're coming up with it. Should be coming out soon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm checking the Google right now just to kind of see.
Yeah. I thought I did see something on it because I know they're doing a lot of crossovers and doing a lot of different things, but
yeah, because the manga is actually going to end soon. Like it's
well,
not
the
like soon, like
manga.
tomorrow, but like the writer, the creator, he said that he had a set storyline in mind, and then like once he completes that story, then it's done. Like he's not going to drag it out.
Well, all manga writers do that. A big chunk of the manga writers have a set storyline. Some of them just do too many fillers, depending on.
But that's the thing. Like he's not doing any fillers. Like he going straight in, like target straight for the story. And he said he's only given it like a couple of years, like to complete the story. And like that's it. Like you look at stuff like Bleach ran for like 10 years, Naruto ran for like over 10 years. They had all kind of fillers in there. They drug it out. Even like the last, when they said, okay, we about to end it, it took them like over a year, way over a year to finish the final story arc when they really could have finished that final story arc in like 2-3 months. But he's not doing that. He's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, Bleach that tired me. As a matter of fact, once we got to like 300, I stopped watching it. Not because I hated it. I was like, you know what? I'll stop, and then I'll let them play themselves out with the fillers. Once I find out what episodes the filler stops, I'll pick back up on it because they'll go a good 20 episodes of fillers at a time, and it's just crazy. Yeah.
Dude, with Naruto, they did a whole year of fillers at one point. Like literally a whole year was nothing but fillers.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. I just want to make sure, Phoenix, did you have anything else before we moved on?
No, that was it.
Okay. One other thing, and I'm gonna throw this, Potbelly, since you mentioned it. How I think I sent it to you the other day, but I know you've been crazy busy. I got into a really interesting conversation on Twitter yesterday with a couple people that Lionsgate is in negotiations now to do a live action Naruto movie. And obviously, what the conversation yesterday on Twitter was about, of course, cultural appropriation and them basically pulling a Shyamalan to it, and that. I mean, and as much as I like to think that's kind of like the main go-to of what not to do, other than them doing it culturally correct, do you have any major concerns about a live-action Naruto movie? Because Naruto is a complicated story to tell.
It is. I mean, it is and it isn't. What? Just taking a half a step back, dude. Resend me whatever you sent me because I definitely ain't get it.
Well, it's called Twitter, and if you look at your Twitter feed from yesterday morning,
I thought you emailed it to me. I will take a look at my Twitter. It's probably in the 20+ notifications I haven't looked at yet.
Yeah, I'll let you know what time. But yeah, it was. I tried to bring you into it. I knew that you're the subject matter expert when it comes to this.
My phone has been off for like 2 days. What was I gonna say? Naruto's it depends, like, because they have like so many different stories. Like, even though Naruto is the main character, you have other characters inside the world that they created that also get like a lot of airplay. So like when you finish with the Naruto manga, like you're versed in a whole slew of characters and their backstories and their storylines as well. Like Hinata, she's got her own storyline. Then you got somebody like the villain Orochimaru, he's got his own storyline, and like in the anime and even in the manga, they'll dedicate like whole episodes or like whole manga just to other characters outside of Naruto, and they all tie in at some point. Like Sasuke is like the main kind of like antagonist, protagonist, all wrapped up into like one character. He's got his own joint, and so like that's my major issue with doing a live action movie. Is like, if you're not like really familiar with all of the characters, you're gonna lose a lot of that that's gotten built up over, I can't remember how many manga, like 600-700 manga, like whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that yeah, I always look. I mean, Naruto's been out there for so long. Yeah, there's just so much content. Yeah, I mean, you think they could probably do several different. They can do, I what 3, 4 different movies maybe.
And that's the major issue. Like, it is so much content, and it's got multiple story arcs. Because you start out with Naruto, you basically start out with him as a kid, and the story goes all the way up to his young adulthood. And like they finished the manga several months ago, and it's like by the time they get to the end of it, it's like he's an adult with kids of his own. So it's so much there, and it's like so many like really powerful things that take place. Like when Neji passes away, like that joint is crazy. One of the things that still like literally touches me, like I get a little bit emotional, is when Asuma died. Like Asuma dying was one of the saddest things like I've ever seen in a manga. Like that joint had me sitting there, I'm big black dude, like, man, why Asuma God die for? Like, I'm all choked up and whatnot. Like, it's kind of
Now,
crazy.
see, that's crazy because that's only happened, and just real talk, that's only happened to me. I felt that way only twice. It was that and in Inuyasha where Kikyo finally dies.
Yeah,
And it was the way they
too.
did it. It was like I was reading, and I was like, I was looking at her, she's like, your eyes, like, yeah. I was like, I had hot sauce in my hands, and my eyes is crazy right now.
So I'm not the only one. Like when Asuma died, like that was powerful.
I mean, because not all shows are able to pull you into that place, even though they try. But those two did it because it was unexpected, and then it was like, oh, and then the way they set it up was crazy. The emotions behind it all was like, damn, that's crazy. So yeah. Well, what I wanted to ask you guys real quick, because I know we talked about it, but I kind of feel differently than the way my original stance on it. So the casting, what if for the Naruto movie, would you be upset if they grabbed one of the younger Koken brothers to play Naruto? Would that bother you?
And it's kind of interesting you said, because we had this conversation when they did Ghost in the Shell.
I was gonna bring that up. Ghost in the Shell. When we did Ghost in the Shell, I
still stand by my original statement. Like, I think casting Scarlett Johansson was a great casting choice because phenotypically she matches the character look-wise from the actual anime and from the manga. Like,
now, see, that was my thing because I know I was on that stuff, and I kind of feel that way. But now, when I watch manga all the time and I read it. I watch anime all the time and I read it all the time. I'm on like Netflix is the greatest ever now because they put a bunch of different stuff on there on top of not well known things but stuff that I never heard of, and I get to go back and then I find the mangas later. But you know that the way they visualize it, you can put anybody in those characters, but you know what the intention is coming from from the people that's actually making it, because they don't see it that way. Because so when they get upset, they should go back to the source. Originally, I was like, well, the source material, casting Scarlett Johansson, for example, it looked just like the woman in the manga and in the anime. So what you mad about? But I could see now why they would get tight if you don't go back and say you somebody of Japanese origin or whatever. I could see why it bothered them, especially if you look at the whole thing, the names of the characters. It's the way they normally draw stuff. But I saw something that they did live action. It was some random anime that they did live action. It was a fanfic. Well, no, I don't know if it was a fanfic, but it was just like something that they was playing with, and all the characters were Japanese. And at first it threw me off. I was like, that's not what they look like in the manga. But then you thought about it, it came from the people who actually created the content. So their intention is, it was when we thought of the character, it was a Japanese looking guy. And I was like, well,
I think with Naruto is like a little bit different than Ghost in the Shell, even though I think they run along the same track. Like with Ghost in the Shell, it's futuristic. is Japan. I forget what year, but it's decades ahead of where we are right now. The technology is crazy. They got all types of augmentations to people, so folks look different. And then they talk about the immigration issues that they have in Japan at that point in time. So having characters who actually look non-Japanese makes a little bit more sense. Whereas Naruto is based on, it's kind of like quasi present day, kind of like Earth 2 or something like that, where it's still based on feudal Japan, like where you have the daimyo, and you have the shogun, and you have the ninja system set up. So given all of the cultural relevance and everything from that perspective, I would have to say go with an Asian American or Japanese lead for Naruto, as opposed to with Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I think that we're all going to be watching this very closely. I mean, as much as I like to think that the studios are coming around to, really looking at the casting, and Geekonius has talked about his challenges that he's encountered in his travels when thinking about discussing or being a part of casting. Casting is difficult. So
I think too, though, man, we can't really necessarily have like the hard and fast rule. I think is you got to take it, a case by case basis, and like look at everything holistically before you just make those casting choices.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's go, Barbelly. Since you already got the camera, what you got? You got anything? You've thrown a lot on the table already.
I'm about to say, man, I've been running my mouth all
Okay.
session. I think I'm gonna shut up for a minute.
All right. Hey, what?
I know you're not talking. Like, hold up. This is his face for everything. Hold on. I gotta say this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Right, because actually, I wasn't even gonna call on Face at all. I mean, he's got gotten enough of his screen time. I wasn't gonna give him much more time. And Geekonius did the news, so I was like, well, it just leaves me, and then we can really just shut the whole show down. All in a day. But no, I'm definitely gonna give King Face a minute, because he usually has always something fairly interesting. Face, you got anything for the table today?
I did. But now I don't know if I want to share with you guys.
Oh,
no. Mine was kind of taken into adult tracks. We did the anime, we talked about the movies or whatever, but mine is something similar to something that Bob Rock could probably get into, sort of, kind of, but not really, because you're a certain type of gaming guy.
Mm-hmm.
But mine was. And I have an article ready. I just got to post it. But it's basically about the state of gaming now. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I doubt it, because I enjoy playing video games when I have the time. But it's no longer fun anymore. Like a lot of the games that come out for whatever reason, it's no longer fun for a myriad of reasons. And it's mostly because it's not so much the games in of themselves that's the problem. It's the people that we play with. I mean, why do we, like, if you go back and think about all the games you've ever played in your lifetime, and when you played it, what you did, why'd you do it? Because you enjoy playing it, and then you enjoy playing it with other people. Whether it's you go to the arcade and, like if you were somebody like me that could go with $1 and spend 3 hours at the arcade because I could never get beat at Street Fighter, try me if you want to do something, stuff like that. I mean, that feeling, I don't have that anymore with the games that come out. Like a lot of especially with MMOs, and since the only people that really play MMOs on our show anyway is between me and Geekonius. And Geekonius is one of those strobe light MMO players. He'll come on for like 2 minutes and then just leave. He'll just leave. He'll literally show up.
I've given several MMOs at least 3 to 4 months.
You're a damn lie. That's too much time. And you want to know the sad part about it? What's really sad about it is he's the one that says, Face, you got to get on this. Oh, you got to get on it. Hey, why you ain't on it? Why you ain't on it? Get on it now. So I get on it. I'm like, where you at? Oh, I haven't been on it in a while. I'll probably get back on it tomorrow. Don't see him for the rest of the time. You talking a week, 2 weeks max.
Oh, you need to stop.
Oh, really?
Okay, let's put it this way. In Elder Scrolls, I'm level 49. That can't happen in a week or two. And
hold on. But tell the truth. You was level 49. You probably been playing that on a sneak for the entire 3 years it's been out. I was level 49. We was level 49 within the first 2 months. You was like level 10 still. And then you stopped. That means you've been playing and not saying nothing to nobody. That's a BS move.
That's not true. I played Elder Scrolls at least until I want to say it came out March of last year. I played it till about June.
That's not true. It came out March. Let's say it came out March 10th.
It came the end of March, but we were in the beta.
Yeah, but we was in a beta. So let's just say it came out March 10th, just for argument's sake.
I played till about June.
You played till if it came out in March 10th. You played until April 14th.
That's a lie. That's not true.
So let's get back to Face's point about gaming. Go ahead.
No, but what I was saying is, to me, oh no, oh God no. To me, it's just the state of the games. My battery was about to die, but I'm not gonna let that happen. So don't worry, people. I'm just gonna have to get up in a minute. But the state of the gaming, like the community, is like the problem with MMO gaming versus, let's say, RPGs. You know, the problem is you got too many people out here that don't know what the hell they want, and I think that's the problem. And I'm kind of appealing to everybody's nature, like. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all want. Y'all done ruined so many games. And I'm talking about each gaming community. They ruined so many games, and the developers acquiesce to everybody's foolishness. You can't make everybody happy. You should try to make the game as good. If you got a game that has like 4 million users and they're still on, don't change it. And then all of a sudden you make a change and you go from 4 million to like 500,000. You got a problem. Go back to what you were doing before. Because now you done ruin the game. I can name several games that they do this to, and this is crazy. And it goes to a lot of the different conversations that we have about people in general now, or these young folks, or people that don't really know what they want. And then when they get it taken from them, they're all, I can't believe you took it from me. But you was complaining about it, and now they take, oh, well, since you complained about it, we'll change it. Well, I didn't mean for you to change it. I was just saying, I just thought it was crazy. What are you doing? And they kind of killing the games. And I think that is the drawback between some of those games. I enjoy playing online. I think that's the best part of gaming to me, is playing with other people. I know, Bob, Rob, you're on that. You could play by yourself all the time, every day.
Because he's only creating stuff anyway. So
yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
I don't think he actually ever plays the game. I think.
Okay, so let's stuff. So let me respond to that, since you know what, I could do my screen share and show my Steam profile.
Oh no, we don't want to see 900 games right now.
If you want, I'll pull up my Steam profile and I'll show you what I'm playing. But interestingly enough, so right now I'm playing City Skylines. I actually just installed I think it may be the only fighting game I own. I just started literally 2 days ago playing Street Fighter Ultimate, and I'm getting pretty nice at DJ. So I just started playing that, and before that, I've got like 1,000 some odd hours in Civ 5. I hated Beyond Earth, and I'm also playing Borderlands 2. Borderlands the prequel. So first person shooters. So let me respond to the playing online thing. Interestingly enough, and I'm going to relate this to an article that I just wrote. Oh, I haven't published the article yet because I'm still working on some background. So I'm working on an article on gaming addiction, and I talked about one of my first experiences with the adrenaline rush, because it was incredible. And that was MMO. It was called Tribes. That was a first person shooter, and I played a class called I was playing an assault class called the Farmer. And, you know, to say, I think what's really hurt for me, the experience is, number one, the gamings have become so ridiculously expensive, and then they DLC you to death, and that you can basically buy yourself you buy your experience now. So you can have a guy that, you know, you used to be, you work your way up, you work your way up, you earn your classes. But now it's like they give you these golden boxes and they call them all these different things. And so what happens is you walk in day one, you're a level 30, you're a level 15. And you know, and I'm not trying to buy my way through personally because I'm old school. You know, I'll work my way up. But I'll give you an example: Titanfall. Titanfall. You know, I love. I mean, I was hyped about Titanfall. I love Titanfall. Dropping giant robot mech suits from the sky on people. It was fantastic. It was absolutely wonderful. But what happens is they messed up in the leveling of it, and maybe this goes back to Face's point where some of those tweaks, because what they've done, gaming has gotten to a level that they want you involved. So they're either going to involve you on the storyline level, or what they do is they give you all these, you get the level ups, and you get the badges, and you get these achievements, and you have to earn your way up. You know, and so I think that's become a challenge for folks as well. Go ahead, Face.
No, I agree. But see, I think that's what's killing the game. Ironically, it's because you got people like me. That's why I get into gaming, and I like the MMOs because you put in the work and you want to see what your character could do, and you're like, oh, I could do this because my character is good because I put in work. I did all this stuff, and now you get people like, oh, well, they shouldn't make it so hard to get to level 30. I'm like, so you want to have it like right out the gate. So they whine and they cry, so now they get the golden box where you can get all the gear and you get everything given to you without actually. You get someone like me who got all these skill points, and I got them through grinding and getting, doing everything. And you get this guy who comes on, and in a week he's where I'm at, and it's like that's not cool. And then it makes the game boring because now you're like, oh, I got nothing to do, and it's like because you ruined it. You had the level to get it. And now you don't have to because you whined about, oh, you made this thing so hard to beat. And it's like, it's not really hard. You got to pay attention. And you got a group, you got you probably beating a dead horse. You got a generation of people that don't want to work for nothing. So you got these boards and all that stuff. It's actually hard. And you got to actually, think. You got to actually move. You got to do everything. They're like, can you just make it to where I press 3 buttons and the game is over and I win? Can you do that for me? And it's like, well, now it's boring. Now you're complaining because you have nothing to do. And then so now that you have nothing to do, you want the developers to change the game up to make it exciting. And you make these changes that are stupid, and then you add to the fact that they're nickel and diming you to death with all the DLCs. And I think it kills games. I think every game so far has been killed from that. Elder Scrolls, DCUO, Star Wars, Star Trek, has all been killed because of that. And it's unfortunate because those games could be fun for a long time.
And and to piggyback on that, I think also one of the challenges that I don't know if necessarily killing the game, but is the level and to kind of go on your same concept of the complexity. I look at games like Fallout New Vegas, you look at Skyrim, and even to go to into Borderlands, where you get so many side missions. I mean, you can choose to stay on the main mission and just run through it, but then you wonder like, what am I missing on the side of it? And it takes so much discipline to say, I'm not going to worry about all these side missions. I'm going to stay on this main mission and really try to finish the game. And I don't even remember. I know I saw the number once of how many hours it would take to complete all the side missions and the missions in Skyrim. It's ridiculous. But I mean, I had to. I mean, I love New Vegas, but I eventually had to. Well, okay. It was my own fault that I had to leave New Vegas because I scrounged so much crap. I was always trying to level up. So that me and my crafting. So that's why I'm so concerned. I've already put my leave in for Fallout 4 because I know when y'all don't see me for a few days, I'm actually gonna be in Geekonius' basement. So Geekonius, I'm warning you right now. There's no way I just need to I'm gonna be over. Clear me a space, bro. I'm gonna bring my own table. but it just made me a space. Let's see. So I guess Gigonius, and then I'll go last, and we'll wrap the show fairly quickly. You brought up a lot of issues in Sith News. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring for the benefit of the roundtable?
No, you know what? I think my biggest beefs have all been related to different casting choices, and of course that apocalypse thing. One of the things I didn't bring up in Sith News that I think was pretty poignant, but still kind of goes on the discussion we've been having on this show. The cast of Fantastic Four is a little upset that every time they get interviewed, people question this whole Johnny and Sue Storm thing. And I find it funny that they think it's, they get annoyed. And it's like, yo, people are curious about it because it's a freaking dumbass, weird decision that Fox made. Not to mention they picked the obscure ultimate version of Fantastic Four, which is throwing people off as far as the origin. But for the record, and I've said it a million times, I just don't agree whether Disney does it or whether Fox does it, changing the race of the characters. I just don't. And if you want to take it another step, why couldn't Sue be black? We all know why Sue couldn't be black. So that, Johnny fits closer to the stereotype of what they think black men are because, he's arrogant, he's a ladies' man, and he's, this, that, and the third. So it's a lot easier for them to say, oh, well, let's make Johnny black since we got to make somebody black. Why not make Sue black? Or maybe it's 100% innocent and the director was just picking his boy to be in the film since they did Chronicle together. Who knows? But I just find it odd that they're all upset that people keep asking them in the lead up to this movie. And I'm really battling with seeing this movie because part of me feels like at this point, when you look at like Doctor Doom, I know we're going all in on Apocalypse, but if you look at Doctor Doom, they're playing, loose with his looks as well too. It's like Fox just seem to have this issue where they don't want to do a proper adaptation like Marvel did. I posted an image a couple of weeks ago on Twitter that I mocked up in Photoshop real quick of how Marvel, when they do stuff, like you look at Thanos, he looks like the comic book Thanos. There is no, you look at Ultron looks like comic book Ultron. But when Fox get around to it, Galactus is a damn cloud in the sky. Apocalypse look like Ivan Ooze. And damn Doctor Doom is like, his face is all scarred up and is like metal face in a hood. And, and I'm just tired of Fox. I'm wondering if we should really just be like, look, stick to our guns and not give Fox 10 cents. Don't go see Age of Apocalypse. Don't see Fox. I read a Geek's website. I don't remember what the Geek Twins or Three Black Geeks, one of them out there. And they basically was like, they hope Fox fails. They want Fantastic Four to fail. Literally. Fail. But they say the only way it will fail is if those of us, the geek community, who really are hot about this, we have to put our foot down and just not go see it.
So they need to have a bad opening hashtag. We're gonna start the hashtag to not go see it opening weekend.
We should.
I mean, let's do it. I mean, I feel like between.
I'm not joining in on that. I'm not joining in on that.
We can see it later in the month. They just gotta get
I like
hard.
The trailer.
We get Geek Soul Brother on board.
Wait, hold on. You step on Phoenix. Go, make your statement again. I'm trying to hear what you said.
I said I like the trailer. I said Michael B. Jordan's my boy, and I think it's a great move that he was cast in the movie. I know that it feeds into a certain stereotype, and yes, the girl should have been also black to just round that off. Why not make them both African American? Especially as a black woman, I felt like she could have been that, and that would have been fine. But I also think it's one of those things that they're going to use that against you. As soon as that movie fails, it's going to be like, look, we went through all this trouble casting a black man, and this movie failed, and we're not going to do it again. I'm actually fine with old school comic book characters' race being changed, because I feel like when you have to look at the context in which when they were created, and a lot of time they were all white. So if you look at the way they're being revamped now, they should add some color and diversity to it. I mean, we can create new diverse characters who are black and things, but these other characters have a franchise behind them that has more likelihood to be successful.
Hold on.
Black Panther is a white guy.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that, because there are characters that were made back in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s that were black. All you got to do is use them, and they're just as interesting.
They don't have that kind of franchise behind them. That's just real talk. That's just real talk. They would not in a perfect world. They would. Okay.
No perfect world. All you got to do is use them.
In this world. Okay.
So I mean, if your logic is just to say just turn them all black.
Can I finish? What I'm saying. I'm still saying though. What I'm saying is that the fact is that these places have a franchise behind them, like Superman, Spider-Man. All of them have this history behind them that that if they put out a movie, it's guaranteed to be somewhat of a certain kind of success. Even if it's flops, like that Hulk movie.
That's not even true. People already mad about Superman. Here's the thing. If you actually pay attention to what people
it made a lot of money though.
It made money, but what are people saying? They're like, yo.
I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the Twitter activists and things like that who are complaining online. That thing still makes money with the general audience because people recognize and know these characters. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the money right now, and I'm talking about the fact that if you want to, I'm not saying I'm against I want Black Panther the movie to be made and things like that. I want those characters that were originally made of people of color to be made. But I'm also saying I'm also for the changing of the race when it comes to certain, like Wonder Woman. I thought that they should have, I had hoped that a woman of color had gotten that. That would have been really awesome in my opinion.
She's technically Israeli.
Race changing. Okay. So I'm not I'm just, what I'm saying.
Okay. He's still white.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
don't do that today.
Phoenix. Hold on a second. Hold on, because you real animated. Now I feel your passion.
I'm going to see the movie, and I'm not boycotting that movie. That's
just
ridiculous.
Based on your own argument. You're saying that these characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, like they come, with an audience, what you're getting, blah, blah, blah. They have all these things behind them. But if we don't actually do the same thing for the existing characters in the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe that are people of color, like Misty Knight and Luke Cage, they're not going to ever get to that point. So putting a change in the race of a character is not going to do anything to bolster the marketability of the existing characters within the system. Now, I'm not really
do the other way. I think that's fine to do the other ones, but I'm also saying that I'm not against when they want to change the race of an existing character that they already know has a franchise behind them. Because it's not just about the character; it's about representation. It's about representation. And if you want to be picky and choosy and say, well, I want this one because this was originally black, as opposed to starting a whole new franchise with a Wonder Woman that happens to be a black woman, I just think you're getting lost in the details.
Let me just say this, because I'm a tad bit of a hypocrite, because I really wanted Miles Morales to be the next Spider-Man. But what I will say is the reason why I would like to boycott the Fantastic Four has nothing to do with Michael B. Jordan. I actually like him.
Well, I went to school with him, so I cannot go air I'm gonna boycott my friends.
So this is personal for you.
First of all, there's a rule in debate.
But I also want to see it.
Hold on, there's a rule in debate that if you're gonna debate a topic, you have to go ahead and be fully disclose things like that up front. You can't just come out.
We went to school together, okay?
Just say, by the way, we went to school together. No! Don't work like that.
I know, Mariah. I'm not going to boycott this movie. I support you, Michael.
I mean, let's keep it 100 on this show. We all like Michael B. Jordan. Like
I do like
Michael B. Jordan is a good actor. His last movie where he played a quasi superhero, that joint was pretty good. But at the end of the day, you have, if you want characters to have franchise, you don't have to co-opt the franchise from existing characters that are not of color. Like, start to build out a franchise for the other characters. One of the problems that we have in the comic book world anyway when it comes to media is we keep using the same characters over and over again. DC built their whole tentpole off of two characters, Superman and Batman. They're just now starting to expand that with their television franchise. Wonder Woman had been in production for almost like 10, 15 years, and like she's finally just hitting the big screen. Like, so that's on the DC side. On the Marvel side, ignoring like Marvel licensing issues with Sony and Fox, I mean, you've had basically only like 3 tentpoles coming out, the Marvel camp. Like, you've had X-Men, what if you had Avengers, and even with all the movies coming out, you had Avengers, and on the Fox side, you had Fantastic Four. Those have really been all of like the tentpoles on the Marvel side. Marvel's got thousands of characters, like literally.
We have to admit, though, that Marvel did do Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury.
Yeah,
they did do Falcon, and they have done War Machine. So
yeah, but that still all falls underneath the auspices of the Avengers. Like,
that's all they really got, though.
Shield.
But you know what? But see, that goes to my point. There were characters, and they used them. Marvel used them. They brought in the Falcon. They brought in War Machine. They used Nick Fury, which was a comic book. We can go all in on whether or not they should use the ultimate version or use the version that they got. But they actually had that comic book before the movies came out. There's characters you can use.
They wrote the comic book.
They wrote the comic book based off when they did Shaft.
Based on Sam
Jackson. So to say that, there's no one marketable. There is people marketable. You just need to do it.
I didn't say that. Who said that?
It sounded like that's what you said.
Let me just get to the main point. The reason
the franchisability, basically, the existing franchise.
That's what I'm saying. They have
that, but you're not going to get franchises for these other characters.
I said that I didn't say they weren't marketable. You could I'm totally for the Black Panther movie, and if they want to do, and they have a new series coming out, a comic book series for Vixen, and Vixen, the cartoon version of Vixen, and things. I'm all for that because that's what should be happening. We shouldn't have to necessarily change the way. But the thing is, I'm talking about the context of like Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and them.
You flip flopping right now.
What? I'm not flip-flopping. I'm saying the same exact thing.
You flip-flopping right now. It's like, he's like, I'm all for it, and they shouldn't have to change, but, like, that's a flip-flop. Like,
how is that a flip-flop? I said earlier that in a perfect world, and this isn't it, that they should be able to do that. That's not the perfect world. In this world, they do need to do those things, because let me finish. What I was saying was that Superman, Batman, and all of them, when they were created, it was a time of like this, like white is in this society is considered the default. Like Batman is considered, or Superman, like white is considered the representation of everyone. Like, that's not a distinct person. Like a black character would be representative of black people, or a Chinese person would be representative of Chinese people. So what I'm saying, when they were created, it was like, oh, Superman is everyday man, Batman is everyday man. And if in this context now, if you change the race, you're saying, no, it's not just white default anymore. He can be a black guy. He can be a Chinese person. He can be this. He can be that. You can change Wonder Woman because white woman is in the default for all strong women. So you can't have a black Wonder Woman. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with changing the race of these iconic characters because of when they were created, it was white the default as them representing everyone. And now we're saying we can change that image. But what I also think with the characters of color, it's fine to create them. But I also think that when you have a franchise that has such a chance to be so huge and that they want to change the race, I think that's awesome. I think representation matters in that sense that, why not? If you know this movie is going to be huge and everything, that you put a fate that it's not all lily white. Like why can't we or something? It's not. I don't think it's an either or.
I understand where you're coming from, but you're talking about dealing with iconic characters. Here's the deal, and this is my perspective. Why change them to put a black face or a Hispanic face or an Indian face or an Asian face on an existing character, why not create your own character that defines you? There's like, you're not co-opting a story, but saying like, listen, these are additional stories. This tells a story about Black people. This represents Native Americans, and this is reflective not just of Native Americans, but of everyone. In the same way that white is a default, why can't a Black character be a default? Why are we not creating new stories and having new narratives and new perspectives, as opposed to saying, okay, we're just going to put a Black face?
Those are happening though, and it's not just the Black face. You know, you're kind of downplaying how important it is of the fact that when you have such an iconic character, that it can be played by a person of color, where in the past they would have never been able to get into the casting room, and in chances now there's a lot of time where they still don't get into the casting thing. I'm not just talking about I'm talking about the whole industry in and of itself, that they're allowing someone, an African American male, to play such an iconic character. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think.
I'm sorry, what?
I was saying James Bond. Anybody? There's a big movie.
I would love to see Idris Elba as James Bond.
Oh, okay. What?
I'm
so
serious though.
That,
so you're all like neck popping and gum smacking like right now. Like
I'm not using any gum. You're chewing gum.
I am. I'm trying to imitate the attitude right now, because there's a lot of attitude, a lot of heat coming through.
It's not attitude. This not heat. I said this to you before.
Trust me, this
like,
is actually
I'm always
the nice
calm. This is how I.
Hey, you want to know what's funny? You want to know what you want?
I've seen her angry. This ain't it. This ain't even close to it.
You know what's funny about that? Is the whole time we were talking, you could see. I don't know if you could see what I see. I don't even know if the people could see what I see when, as far as the voices. You know how that right side you get that kit voice, that little kit thing, that thing on the side, that green thing that basically shows you how loud you're getting. Every time Phoenix says, "I'm calm," that ish goes all the way up. That joint goes.
I'm close to the screen right here, and I'm working.
Because you like neck right now. You like right here with it.
Okay. I work in theater. Okay. If you want to play on this Black woman, snap stereotype to somehow divert this debate, that's fine. But what I said still stands.
See, you just added something to the project. You just add something to the program.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Just like adding words to the program.
Geekonius, you were trying to make a point. Make your point, sir.
All I was going to say is at the end of the day, it comes down to money. No matter what you say, it comes down to money. And the argument, as I sit back and listen, as I watch the comments on YouTube as well, the argument does have merit. You can't take, we can get, let's use Vixen, for instance, or Static Shock or something like that. The average person does not know those characters. So if it's all about getting more people of color out there out front, it's an easier path to pick somebody that people already know and make them a person of color. Even if we don't like it as comic fans because of the story, but from a money standpoint, the money people are looking at, can we go drag and get an obscure character from our bin that's a person of color and put them out there? Or is it a lot easier to just flip the switch on somebody that people already know, and then we can say, okay, we got a face out there? I also look at the argument that's saying, look, if you don't support this, they will use it as a weapon to say, see, we made them Black, and no one went to go see the movie, so therefore we should never do this again. And I don't want to, I'm all about supporting, I don't want the brother to hurt. I would like him to get more roles like this. I'm just saying my major beef has not a lot to do with the casting, though I can critique it. Like one of our commentators said, why couldn't Mr. Fantastic be Black? But the end of the day, I want to boycott Fox because I want the licenses to go back to Marvel. And it goes back to money. If Fox makes money, they keep making these movies. The rights don't go back to Marvel. So for me, with all of the other stuff, politics aside, what I want to see other Black people doing and who characters get to turn Black or white, I don't want Fox to have these licenses. I want X-Men and Fantastic Four licenses to be with Disney and Marvel, So when we get to a movie like Infinity War, we can have the big ass thing that we always wish we could have on TV, and people actually look like they're supposed to look in the comic books. Regardless if they change the race or not, I want Apocalypse to look like Apocalypse. I want Galactus to look like Galactus. I want Doctor Doom to look like Doctor Doom. And the only way that's going to happen, Fox has got to fail. They had to lose so much money that they said, you know what? Either we got to give it back to Marvel, or we need to make a deal like Sony did because Spider-Man failed and said, look, we'll let y'all play a role in this if y'all split the money. That's why I want to boycott it. And I'm saying, as a geek, if you want to see the rights go back to Marvel Cinematic Universe and not stay with Fox, you can't do both. You can't serve two masters. You get the money to Fox, you helping them keep doing this. If you don't get the money to Fox, you could be with the fight to get it back to Marvel. But if we continue to give Fox the money, we will never see any mutants in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They'll be Inhumans, and that'll be about as far as we're going to get.
It's interesting that you brought up Inhumans, because we talk about a lot of the black characters in the Marvel Universe. A lot of them are lesser-known characters. But a lot of comic books, I mean, and Ant-Man is a prime example. Like, most people didn't know who Ant-Man was. Like, unless you were, like, in the comic books, you know, like that, you didn't really know who Ant-Man was. Ant-Man's done fairly well. Kick-Ass is a lesser-known comic. Kick-Ass did, you know, very well. Hell, Guardians of the Galaxy,
nobody know who those were.
Basically, and that joint blew the box office up.
Unless you were a comic book geek.
And it blew the box office up. So the whole idea of lesser-known characters, or, you know, the black lesser-known characters, or the people of color lesser-known characters not doing well, I think is a little bit off.
No one said it's not doing well. It's a money decision.
We know
how Hollywood is. Come on, even you're saying lesser known characters, the perception, whether it's real or false, is that if you lead a movie, any movie, with a black cast, a black lead, you're not going to make money. It don't matter what the genre is.
You know why they did that? It's sabotage. You know why they did that? Because it kind of goes back to what we talked about before when they use major characters. Because in truth be told, and prefaces, don't take this the wrong way if you are a Marvel head or whatever. The reality is, in comic books, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, those are the most well-known characters across the board. And I'm saying they're the best comics. I'm just saying people in general don't have to ever read comics and they know who Superman is. People in general don't ever have to read comics. They know who Batman and Wonder Woman is. They at least know. Everybody thinks of, well, ain't that the woman that flew the invisible jet? She don't even fly the invisible jet no more. But you at least know who it is, okay? And if you were talking about changing one of them, which they did, and that's where the sabotage is, because they tried to go for the Black Superman, and we all know who Black Superman was in the comics. It was Steel. And they got Shaquille O'Neal to do it, and he just can't act. And that was sabotage right there. that was sabotage right there.
I want to they said that movie
Space Jam did great though, and that was I was just saying Space Jam because you know.
So Space Jam, what else, Jordan? That was Bugs Bunny.
You just bring Space Jam into the conversation. Oh my God, that was one of the worst acted movies.
I said that, but you know that movie did really well. That was my reasoning.
It did well because
it was back in the sabotage, but you know, honestly, it was not that bad.
Touch
but you know, still
basketball and get your powers back.
But you know, but look, think about it. Back then, Space Jam had a lot of allure. One, it was Bugs Bunny. Two, it was Michael Jordan. Is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? Oh my God, it's Jordan with a basketball. That was right around the time
Michael Jackson on the soundtrack.
And Michael Jackson on the soundtrack. It just had allure. But with Steel, that was just a horrible movie. Sorry, it was. Everything about Steel was bad. And I
like the Meteor Man and Blake Man better.
That's true.
Those were made up characters.
Meteor Man was better.
Those were made up characters. Steel was an actual comic book character that just failed. But mostly because they got
But you know what? It goes to prove the point though about Hollywood and the investment into diversity. Because like you mentioned, the quote unquote Trinity of DC, Wonder Woman being one of the most popular characters, they did not until now, and with the increased pressure and competing against Marvel, decided to make a Wonder Woman movie. Finally. Because women being diverse characters as well, they don't want to take that risk. A woman can't lead a superhero movie, and DC has had their share of examples. Holly Berry. But
they did Catwoman wrong. That was just a horrible script. That could have been so much better.
I think a lot of them failed.
That could have been so much better. I think people wanted that to do well. I think it could have, because she kind of has that appeal, that mass appeal, but it was just a really
that was
bad.
A whack script all the way around.
But that's what
that could have been good.
But they say we can't.
Berry's hasn't been good in action roles.
But you know what?
Storm was terrible.
But you know what? Here's my defense.
I'm blaming Fox again.
I'm blaming Fox most. I'm not saying that Halle Berry hasn't taken a step back in that particular role, but the whole point of this conversation is Fox is not doing well with these movies, mostly because of the writing in the script. I honestly believe the way they wrote Storm was just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think that's on Holly as an actor. I think that's on
about
Fox.
To do it again.
That's on Fox. Fox
they downplayed her. Yeah.
They downplayed her. They didn't give her enough of a role. That was on them. They didn't let her be Storm. Whether or not she could be Storm is debatable, but they didn't even allow her to try. The Storm that they wrote was whack. It was just whack.
And I do, and in hindsight, though, most blurs were, want to kill me for saying it. I think if they would have wrote it, she could have pulled it off. Halle Berry, we got to remember, is a good actress.
She could.
It's just, but they're about to do it again with this current Storm, I'm calling it. So the question remains, at the end of the day, diversity issues aside, everything else aside, do we continue to give Fox money? Period. Regardless of what we feel about trailers, who we know, what colors, what person is what color. Remember that every dollar we give Fox, we allow them to continue taking some. And I mean, they're in a stronger position than Marvel if they would just write it better. Because to me, they got Fantastic Four in X-Men universe. They're in a much stronger position than Marvel right now, but their writing sucks. And every dollar we give for them to do, they might redeem themselves with this next Deadpool. But let's not forget the Deadpool they did last time. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, Fox has been a huge.
Let's not forget X-Men: The Last Stand.
Fox has been such a huge letdown. I mean, all differences aside in philosophical opinions as it relates to the casting of black actors or people of color, Fox need to get these licenses up.
They're not gonna do it as long as they get the money.
If you really
Fantastic Four about to make a killing, so you can almost guarantee another one.
Yeah, whether you want to see black actors or play iconic roles or black actors play great new roles, kind of doesn't matter at this point.
I want black actors to get hired.
Or if they're not getting good material, and the only way for them to get much better material to work with is to get those licenses back.
Okay, how about this? I want the movie to suck and make no money, but all the reviewers say Michael B. Jordan did an outstanding job.
I think that's a great compromise. Wonderful compromise.
I want all the reviews to say the movie was garbage, don't go see it, but the one highlight of the film was Michael B. Jordan.
There you go, and that is the balance that we must get right there.
I veto that. I'm the dissenter.
That's fine. You're more.
He's gonna get his check, Charles. The Dark Phoenix, he's gonna get his check. Either way, he already got his check.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. You don't want to blame.
He still got to get his points though. He got to get the points on the back end.
So I'm gonna make my one little point, and then we're gonna close this thing out.
Robots. I'm sorry.
Damn it. Yes, my point is about robots. Oddly enough, it is actually about robots. Okay, so I want to talk about, there was some comments recently made by the actor, one of the lead actors from Pacific Rim, Charlie I guess it's Hunnam, Hunnam, and I want to respond or kind of point out the flaw in his thinking. So what he basically said is that he hopes in Pacific Rim there's more storytelling and there's less CG. Let me make something really painfully clear to you, Mr. Charlie. The movie's about
Mr. Charlie.
It's about giant fighting combat robots. It's not about the story. Pacific Rim is about giant robots and giant alien dinosaurs duking it out for the sake of humanity. It is not about love stories. It's not about you getting FaceTime on the movie. It's about the robots. So to say, oh gosh, I really hope there's less CG, I'm like, no, because I'm hoping that the whole premise of Pac Rim 2 is, okay, we're taking the battle to them. They find a way to open a portal. They take the Jaegers into the alien realm, more armored. I mean, I'm looking for just an all-out kaiju robot battle royale. In this next, I'm actually looking for a little bit more CG, to be honest with you. But I mean,
Rob, that's because you don't have that you don't know how to romanticize. Okay,
look.
I want to watch a love. And who don't want to watch a love story with robots?
They're going Godzilla the next one.
Robot.
you spend almost 2 hours in a movie and you only see Godzilla like for 5 minutes.
Right.
Well, my man did say his name several times.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
So I mean, that was my thing, because I saw that and I just like wanted to write him a personal note. Like, look, I understand. Maybe you want to get more screen time. Maybe you do want to tell more story, but I need you to understand the movie's about robots and kaiju. And it really is about that. It's really about that. And maybe you want to throw in, oh, it's about human survival. I mean, I think to the point it turns into a Godzilla movie, where the Godzilla movie was pretty much all about one of the luckiest individuals ever. You
mean to tell me everybody can't jump out of a plane and land on their feet?
Except the luckiest human beings ever were in the last Transformers movie. They should have died at least a dozen times over, crawling out there on those stupid cables. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. And as much as I love Transformers, the movie, it was a fun movie. I was really pissed off about the Dinobots getting like basically what was a cameo. I'm like, you pull the Dinobots out and that's all you do. But with them?
Is kind of ridiculous too, don't you think?
That is ridiculous. And that's
I understand big robot dinosaurs and.
Right, but that's my whole point. I mean, yeah, you went through the whole Grimlock battle and everything, but that's exactly my point. You pull out the robots, you pull out the Dinobots of all people. We're not talking about the Constructicons or the Aerial Bots. I mean, we're talking about the Dinobots. Those were classic characters, and you put them on the bridge and like, we're gonna stand here and guard the bridge. Next scene. What? What the hell is that?
I mean, this had to.
It was 2 hours and some change. They could have given more love.
Yeah.
This is Hollywood 101, though. These are the same people who gave Avatar to Shyamalan, okay?
Right. Well, no. Oh, look, from what I understand, even about that movie, the creator was involved, and I don't really get that at all. I don't know how you could have been involved in that. My understanding, and I'll go back and read it, because I think. If I recall at the time,
I thought the creators kind of disavowed like the movie.
Was he going AA at the time? Was he like having issues?
I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, he
might have been on set, but he may not have been there.
There's no way anybody involved in the creation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the series, could have possibly co-signed on that movie.
You would have to go back and check that before I go on in, because I don't. I have a hard time feeling like a person who created something like that could actually possibly co-sign on 90% of what that movie did.
Right.
Even if you do have your sign in your hands, it's still impossible. I mean, you changed the name of characters, for crying out loud. Like, why? You know, right. If I created, I'm like, can you at least use his name though?
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah, but I'll go back and look at that. I'll have that ready for next week.
That was crazy. But, or maybe they were just there to say, hey, did the Airbender have a blue arrow on the head or a red arrow? They might have did that.
Insulting.
Yo, yeah. No. I'm sorry. I gotta. Since we brought it up, I'm gonna talk about one of the most insulting moments of that movie was the battle scene in the Earth Nation, where they did all those movements. You had 6 Earthbenders doing all those damn movements, and then a pebble the size of a volleyball. Yeah, hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back to the actual show. When they attacked the Fire Nation alone, Aang and Toph alone pulled a stone slab carrying the entire army up the side of the mountain, up to the temple. So you got what, like a dozen Earthbenders, and then this rock comes.
Rock the size of a volleyball, and it comes.
I never made it that far, honestly, so I don't know. I know not the scene you speak of. I never made it 15 minutes.
They did all, and it lasted all. It then the rock moved so slow across the air. It's like
I didn't even watch all of the cartoon, and I know that's
couldn't actually make
fire. Right.
They had to use existing fire. Like that's when they lost me. Outside of the fact that, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender was one of the most culturally diverse animation like ever when it came down to like Asian culture, and they basically kicked out all the Asian people, and you got white people and Indians. And I'm trying to figure how they did that.
Well, you had my man from Slumdog. That's one Asian. There's one.
But I'm
talking
about
the bad guy.
And they made him the bad guy.
The bad guy in the cartoon was white or lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They switched they just completely switched the race of the
Hollywood working their magic.
It was like every single one. It was amazing. I was like, wow, this is really blatant.
It was horribly blatant. It was just horribly blatant. So anyway, my point is, more robots, more kaiju, more CG. Shut up. Do the damn movie. It's just.
They don't want to hear it. Just robots. Matter of fact, you don't even have to have a story. Just.
Hey, why be Vicky? Forget the story. But no, I do want a good story. I really
start the movie out with them fighting and just let it run. Kind of like Mission Impossible. Was there a scene? I don't think there was a non-action scene in the whole film.
There was.
There was? That was what I was sleeping on.
Yeah, this dude went to sleep on Mission Impossible, one of the best ones. That's the crazy part. I kept having a night. I was like, yo, wake up, this is crazy. He's like,
I saw a good chunk of the movie, though.
He woke up when it was pretty much going down. He woke up when it was going down and the movie was about to end. And I was like, man, isn't this crazy? He was like, what happened? Why are they in the water? I was like, what? He's like, why are they in the water? I was like, dude, you missed all of that? He's like, yeah, why are they there?
In my defense, I had not been getting sleep for like 4 days straight. And that's not my genre of film. I've never been a big spy movie type, James Bond, Mission Impossible, Bourne type movie. Okay. I think they're good. I just not a big fan to it. So with my exhaustion, I kind of dozed off. But what I did see was over the top.
All right. So I'm glad you said that, because I will not be going to see Spectre with you. Now, if you want to come with me,
I won't go. I know I won't go unless I get screening tickets again.
Well, I'm going.
I won't.
I am going to see Spectre in IMAX.
I think the last James Bond film I seen had Sean Connery in it.
Oh no!
Wow.
No!
Not Connery. The one in
Bronson.
Bronson.
Yeah.
Yo, you missing out. Daniel Craig is a wonderful.
That's what
everyone's been saying. I should have been
really
seeing Casino Royale and everything.
Yo,
I don't know why I haven't gotten around to see those movies. I don't know.
Casino Royale was really, really, really good, and Skyfall. I mean, I love Skyfall. Both.
I noticed it be a fact.
Skyfall had a lot of throwbacks. Like if you know the franchise, you saw a lot of the throwbacks, and you kind of geek out over that.
I noticed it be a fact. Everyone says it. I've seen all the reviews. For whatever reason, same thing with Bourne. I think I only seen like the first Bourne. I don't think I ever seen the other ones.
But when you watch James Bond movie when Idris is playing James Bond, will you give it the money then?
Here we go. Here we go.
No, wait a minute. I'm
about to be called Uncle Ruckus.
Next in line.
Let me.
That's pretty much leaning towards that.
I'm gonna say I am a huge Bond fan. I have probably seen every single James Bond film except for the first one Timothy Dalton did. I couldn't stand him. But other than that, I honestly, because I'm a James Bond purist, I kind of don't want to see the racial switch, but I kind of don't want to see it. But in all honesty, I think
it's
Idris will
just
do.
Alba though.
I don't care.
Like,
Honestly, I don't care about Idris. I honestly don't. I mean, I think he's a.
Wow.
I mean, because
That's
people don't people.
blasphemy.
No. Listen. See,
That's
people
blasphemy
don't
for black women.
I think
black women.
That's for black women
All
blasphemy.
women.
You
All
cannot.
women.
They're gonna be
mean,
looking for your big stuff at the next convention.
Look. I think he's a very talented actor. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I think he's a very, very good actor. Everything I've ever
the new
seen
Star
him
Trek.
in. Yeah, I think I've seen him do. He does well at everything. I mean, I just don't know if I feel him as a Bond. I think he can do it though. I think he's got the depth and the range. I think he can pull it off. And yes, he will get my money on opening day. Absolutely. I mean,
the way I felt about Daniel Craig when I first heard that he was doing, I was like, can he be smooth enough?
Or YouTube?
I did too. I wasn't sure about Daniel Craig at first.
Because it was like, we're so used to like this, and Daniel Craig, like one of the things they say about him is that he's a good-looking ugly. Like that's what people. Like no, that's what's been said about okay, well, maybe it's like he's like a rugged, ugly type thing. And normally James Bond has always been like immediately a good-looking guy and not so much rough around the edges kind of a guy, because I think the story of James Bond is a little bit more upper class type, behavior. So when Daniel Craig was I was like, I don't know, but I actually think Idris fits that more.
Rob, read the comments on YouTube. Read the comments on YouTube, Rob.
Already there.
The traditional.
Give me a second.
I think Idris fits the traditional suave.
No, I think he'll probably fit Bond.
His real accent is not the way James Bond normally talks. His real accent, but like he's always been able to change his accent.
I think he'll probably do better than Craig personally. I wouldn't care one way.
Hold. I have to bring this up. I know everyone's not on YouTube watching the comments, so I gotta just tell you how this went down. So the armchair commentary, he says, or she says, I don't know if it's man or female. Please let me know. But anyway, they say, clutches pearls. You don't care about Idris? All caps.
Thank you.
All caps and like 6 or 7 exclamation points. Then they followed up with, Idris is everything. Another all caps in like 8 exclamation points. And then Big Baba Rob responded, he's just another actor to me. And the armchair commentary just confirmed that they are a she.
They are.
And
she is a she.
It proves the point. That's black women. Like you cannot, as blasphemy to black women.
We are a huge viewing audience actually, and we also are a huge buying power when it comes to the entertainment industry to a certain degree, as we've seen with television shows and things like that.
Absolutely.
Like black women, for the record, there have been a lot of white women going to Idris rich.
Huh?
I just say for all the people, all the articles I've seen about Idris being the next Bond, there was a substantial amount of white women commenting, Lord, yes, too, just for the record.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I just don't get into people. I don't know. It's my worldview. People are just people.
No one's saying you can't have an opinion, Rob. No one's saying.
I know. I know. I know. I know the hype about it.
I'm just saying black women will kill you.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? As soon as Barbara Ross said, like, I don't care.
Idris.
No, because it was crazy when Bob Ross said, "I don't care about Idris." I was like, "Let me turn my mic off." I just want to back up. I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be a part of this explosion. Because if my mother heard you right now, she come to your house right now.
A black woman will kill you. It's like if Armchair says, "I've never seen a Bond movie. I would go see it on opening day if it was Idris." Believe that.
See, I mean, the thing is that I don't have anybody that I'm like that.
So what you Nia Long?
No. Oh wait, no. I love Nia Long, but I haven't seen any of the. I have not gone to see any of the movies that she's been in recently.
She ain't been in any movies recently.
That's because they probably went straight to DVD or something.
No, she hasn't. But I'm just saying, I don't idolize anybody
like 2 years ago.
Honestly, now I know. Look, well, hold on. You know what's crazy? I just realized there's one person that probably no matter what they start in, I would go see. Optimus Prime. No matter what movie Optimus Prime is in, I will go see that movie. If Optimus Prime is in Magic Mike, I will go see that movie.
Wow!
I will not see Magic Mike under any circumstance.
Hollywood,
if Optimus Prime is in it, I'm gonna go see it.
If you love us, Hollywood, and you want to do a Magic Mike XXXL, could you please put Optimus Prime in it just so Rob can go to that movie and we can clown him for like 6 weeks?
You want to talk about? It's crazy because normally it's Bob Rob trying to keep everybody on the rails. You just took the show crazy off the rails this week. And it is crazy. I forgot what I was going to actually ask a question that you said something, Geekonians. Now I can't remember because now all I can think of is Optimus Prime in, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and he's gonna watch it.
Hey, when Optimus Prime says, "Let's roll," oh buddy, let's roll.
Now you
I will say, ladies and gentlemen, this may be the end of the show right here. We were probably looking for a stopping point, and
Autobots transform.
I think we found our stopping point.
Tony, you push the button. Can you push the button?
I don't.
Someone push the button.
I got the button bammers. I got the button bammers.
I don't think I can push the button.
Somebody push the button.
I didn't start the hangout.
It's over.
Okay, all right. Yo, this is what happens. This is Geek After.
No roundtable next week.
This is Geek After. Yo, I can keep talking about jokes, guys.
No. There we go. Let's go.
I'm sorry, YouTube.
Yo, let me show you my inner child.
Sorry, Twitter.
Wow.
Don't judge us off the last few minutes of the show.
Wow.
It's pretty appropriate to judge us based on this.
Yo, I rarely go this deep. Oh, it's funny.
It's after midnight on the East
It's after
Coast.
midnight.
He's a little loopy.
It's really damn loopy. All right. Yo, all right. So okay, I'll shut it down. It's super.
You good?
I'm good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to tell any more Autobot jokes, I promise. I'm just thinking of them. Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm a host. Let me get back to being an effervescent host. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another production of the Black Geeks. This has been an absolutely epic night. Thank you so much to all my geek brothers and sisters. Appreciate you guys making the time to come out. Ladies and gentlemen, what you need to do now is you need to I want to say call the 800 number and donate, but you need to go to the Black Geeks.
There's a button on here somewhere you can donate.
Oh, somewhere around. Yeah, I think on YouTube. But yeah, you definitely need to go to www.theblackgeeks.com. You definitely need to like us. You need to share us. You need to go to the Black Geeks.
All that. Just share us. Tell everybody about us.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need
that's what we really need. We need to be on Sirius XM. That's what we need to be.
Is that where we need to be?
We need to be somewhere, but we ain't gonna get there until people share us.
Right.
We need at least a million subscribers.
Yes. So definitely go to the website because everything on the website I've written. There's no other content because I've all my stories. So you go.
Wow, did he do that?
Yeah, I did do that. Yeah. Just got called out. Someone take me down. 5 days.
The website is going to go down for maintenance. Just letting our viewers know. The website will be down for maintenance for the next 3 days.
Yo, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, like us, share us, make us check us out. We're out of here. Lamar! Oh, Lamar! It's over!